Hey guys, Oliver from Data Academy here. In today's video, we're going to talk about for loops and how to use them to help us do things many times in our Python programs. So there's two main for loops that you can use. The first one is looping over a list or a sequence such as a tuple, dictionary, set, or string, so a data structure. And the second type is looping over a range. First, we're going to go over looping over a list. And what it does, the for loop, is it goes through every single element within that data structure. And let's say we have a list named X, and inside we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to say for number in X, let's print the number. Now let's run this code and see what it gives us. It's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all on different lines. And this word right here, number, can be anything we want it to be. So a common one people use is I, and then I can change this to print I, and it has the exact same behavior. And one thing to keep in mind is that this variable I, or whatever you choose it to be, will only exist within your loop. So you're not going to be using this I outside of your loop. There are also some other things we can do. Last video, we learned if, elif, and else. If you haven't watched that video, you can press the top right corner right now. What we can do is use, let's say we want to check whether this number is even. Then we're going to use an if statement. If I, and then we're going to use mod, like 2 is equal to 0. And then we're going to print, first we're going to print I, and then we're going to take the string is an even number. So now let's try running this code. Now it only gave us 2 and 4 because 2 and 4 are the only even numbers in our list. We know that if it does not satisfy this requirement, then it's going to be an odd number. So we can just use an else statement. Else, we're going to print the same thing here, except this will be odd. So now let's run our code again. 1 is odd, 2 is even, 3 is odd, 4 is even, and 5 is odd. Perfect. So now let's look at another example. I have two lists. One is called the lineup, and this is the lineup for our gym. And then we have members, which contains Joe, Mike, and Tara. So only 3 of these people in the lineup are actually members. Now, we want to create a small program that will tell us whether we want to turn this person away or we want to let them in our gym, and we only want the members in. So what we can do is say for member in lineup, if member in members, the list, then we'll say print member has been admitted entry. And if they're not in, we can use an else statement once again. And then we'll say print member has been turned away. So now let's run our program and see what happens. It tells us Joe has been admitted, Cindy and John have been turned away, and Mike and Tara have been admitted. And that's exactly what we want our program to do. All right, so now let's move to the next part of our video, which is looping over a range. Now, a range is a data structure that will give us all the numbers between these two parameters we provide, and there's also a step value. So if we want all numbers between 1 and 10, then we can use, we're going to convert it into a list so it's easier for us to look at. And then we're going to write range inside. We're going to write where we want to start. I want to start at 1, and then I want to stop at 10. So I'm going to write 11 because the second number is non-inclusive. Now let's print this. And it gives me all the numbers from 1 to 10. Now this is going to come in handy when we are looping, because if we want to loop over something 10 times, we can say for I in range, usually we would say 1 and then 11, but here's a trick. If you want 10 iterations, one iteration is going through this loop and executing everything inside at once. If you want 10 iterations, just write 10 inside. And then we'll write print I. And this is going to print every single number from 0 to 9, and it's going to print a total of 10 times. Perfect. Now you may ask, why would we want to do something like this? This could be handy if we want to iterate over a list by using the index. So what I mean is, here we're going to have a list with some fruits in it, apple, banana, and mango. Oops. And I could say for fruit in X, print fruit. But I know that there's 3 fruits in my list. So instead of writing 3 explicitly, let's say the length of X. And then I'm going to say print X, and we'll index it with I. And now this is going to print all our fruits, apple, banana, and mango. This could be useful if we have a program that we need to know the index of something rather than the actual value of it. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next week.